How's it going, guys? So, I have a couple of minutes to speak to you guys before I meet some friends from Israel. To be honest, I didn't prepare anything. I did not prepare anything. The only thing that I can say for myself is that some of us have to realize that we're living in history. Not just we're living in history, and we're not bystanders in history, that we're actually participating in history. Yeah, and I was just telling our friend Frank, or Ephraim, that, at some point people are going to write about this time in history, if they have any seichel about it. Hopefully, the dust will clear, and hopefully the evil people will stare down the barrel of justice, and everything will turn out as it always turns out. Hopefully not too many people get hurt in the process of that. And after all said and done, there's going to be books written about people. And I was just saying how, listen, we're just, Ephraim and I are just kind of the residue of the people that are really active in this whole situation. We're talking about some of the doctors and some of the public figures that are standing up for things and being ostracized and being blacklisted, and just like it was in the Soviet Union, just like it was in another place, which apparently I can't even mention because people get offended. But the doctors were always turned into, there were doctors that were always ostracized, and then there were doctors who were turned into weapons of the state, So we see that again, it's always the medical system. It starts with the medical system, But at the end of the day, people are going to write books about the doctors who stood up to, Lashon Hara and being ostracized and being blackballed and all this kind of stuff. And in this case, it's very sad that people in their own community, people in the Orthodox Jewish community, have spread horrible Lashon Hara against people like my friend Ephraim's brother, who has saved people, actually treated people, as opposed to some of these doctors who are, unfortunately, some of these doctors are in hospitals that are, by the time people get to them, it's already too late, right? So how many people have they treated back to health? Unless they're using, shmanolonal, shmana bodies, unless they're using that, which is being rationed. Otherwise, it's like the doctor doesn't have a prayer to help the person, right? So it's not really his fault anyway. So, but apart from them, you have these people who are just walking around spreading Lashon Hara. Terrible, And frankly, at this point, I was talking to Ephraim today, and he said, listen, man, I don't really care what those people say. I'm like, listen, I agree, but at the end of the day, they could be responsible for somebody not approaching your brother, or somebody not approaching, the therapeutic treatment, and responsible for essentially somebody getting harmed. So, but at the end of the day, we should just know that it's us and Hashem, right? It's just us and Hashem, and then we're participating in the story. And Bezrat Hashem, sometimes I had a friend that asked me, he's like, what if you're wrong? What if we're wrong? I'm like, listen, I entertain that thought every single day, and then when I sit down and I do honest, objective, when I look at the meaning research of both sides of the equation here, I look at the whole picture, not just one side of the picture. I look at it, and I come to realize that things are being obfuscated, things are being hidden, things are being covered up. People are, and I look at who are the people that are mocking the others, meaning who are the people that are ostracizing. I look at who's ostracizing who's blacklisting who's being nasty to who. More often than not, it's the pro people. You can notice a pattern of behavior. You can see that. And once you see that pattern, again, we talked about patterns yesterday. Once you see that pattern of behavior with people, you start to realize who is on the right side of this. Once you see who are the nice people, And if they're not nice, all they're doing is just, snapping back at the people who are really nasty. And then you see the nasty people. You realize who's on the right side of history here. You realize that. So far, guys, I mean, I haven't kept, like, I don't know, a log or an Excel spreadsheet, but I can tell you just from experience, from looking at it, in the past year and a half, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me, the nicer people who have actually been the antis. The sweetest, nicest, like, caring people who actually want to help people, who actually want to save people, have been the antis. Not to say that people have been who are the pros are, all of them are, blank holes, but there are very nice people who are pros who are just misguided. But more often than not, it's the pros who are just like nasty. Nasty, 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 nasty. One person justified it to me, yeah, you have to be nasty to people like you. You know what I'm saying? But then again, even if you take all that aside, even if you take the human social dynamic aspect of that aside, and you actually do go and do actual in-depth research. Go look at numbers. Go look at all over the world statistics. Go look at what today just came out. They finally admitted that, there were higher instances of people who had the stuff in the trials than they previously reported that who had passed away than people who got shmasibo. You know what I'm saying? It was a high instances. And they hid this. They obfuscated this. They hid this. They didn't include it in the report. And now it's coming out. Now there's a lawyer. His name is Adam Siri or Andrew Siri, who's suing the, one of these, the Fada, I think. And the Fada is asking for like 76 years of like whatever immunity to this lawsuit. In the words of Dana Carvey, how convenient. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you guys, I mean, like, it's so, like, obvious. It's so, like, egregious. You look at the contract with Israel. You can't look at it for 30 years. The thing is sealed for 30 years. A contract with all other countries is sealed for 10 years. What's in that contract that's... What is... If I'm buying a product from you, and you give me a contract, and half the contract is redacted and blacked out, and then you tell me that I can't release it for 30 years... It's basically effective like an NDA. What? What are we talking about here, man? It's just like it's absurd. And people come and say, "Well, we're in a this is a pandemic emergency, so whatever, And I'm just like, all the more so in an emergency, we would want to know how this information. You would want to have access to this. This is madness, my friends. This is just. As the guy said in the movie 300, this is madness. And then the guy pushed him into the hole. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, like, this is not how business is done. This is not how people operate in good faith. And then these are governments doing this, and they didn't ask the people what we want. They didn't ask us. In Israel, that's like prime example, number one. Yeah, guys, so, I was just talking to my friend, and we were saying how, like, we're participating in this, and we're doing what we have to do, and even if we're, like, the residue attached to people who are actually in the thick of it, And he actually told me, by the way, that his brother, he goes, no, man, he's like, people think my brother is this, that, and the other. He's like, props me up. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, when we, like, meet people or we talk to people, he always says, oh, Ephraim is the one that knows all this stuff. Because he told me that, like, actually, he goes, my brother, before all this stuff, this whole thing started happening, before this hit, he goes, my brother didn't know anything about politics. He didn't know any of the personas. He didn't know any of the personages, any of the people. He didn't know who was who. He goes, he was a total ignoramus when it came to this. He, like, learned as he went along. He's like, I knew all these people. And I'm back. He's like, my brother... He's like, I knew who they were, and then he goes, there's a reason why I was following this for 20 years, so I would know how to help him. He's like, now I talk to, I'm not going to mention who he talks to, prominent person he's not even he is in the Jewish world, but he's a prominent person in the, I guess, kind of political podcast world. whatever it is. My friend says too many things match the evil of the past. Yeah, and you try to tell people, hello, this is like exactly like that other time, and they're like, this is offensive. Because again, I was asking Frank, I'm like, why are people like this? Why do they not understand that this is just, the lead up to that thing is just like what we're experiencing now, the lead up, not the final thing. And he goes, because people don't have an education about it. He goes like, people keep, and I was saying this too, people just keep walking around yelling, never again, never again. And then and Ephraim yesterday added his own thing. He's like, yeah, people are like, there's no way they're going to do that to us again. If we just keep yelling the mantra, never again, they're going to hear us, and it's going to go into the consciousness of society, and it's never going to happen again. Oh yeah, and then we see like attack after attack. If we're talking about just the Jewish thing, attack after attack after attack after attack after attack. My friends, proof positive that people have no idea what they're talking about when they keep yakking, never again, never again, never again. They have no education about the issue. They have no education about the history. My friends, again, I was watching. So let's say, let me check the. Yeah. I was watching all these specials on Discovery Channel, on History Channel about the years, basically the entire 30s, or even the mid-20s until 1940. You have to watch that era. Berlin. Let's start cursing in Russian. You have to watch those years. Don't watch already the camps. The camps is already the time when it's too late. There's no point to watch about. Yeah, you want to watch atrocities and bodies piled up and this. Wonderful. Go watch that. Never again. That'll never happen again. Really? You know how that never happens again? Because you watch the previous 15 years history of what was done and how they chipped away and chipped away and chipped away, and people had no clue how it got to that point. Rabbi Anava was just saying, he's like, my grandmother left, Germany in 1937. She came to Israel, and people asking, why are you leaving? She's like, well, these guys are coming, and they thought they were nuts. Oh, conspiracy theories. 1937, people were calling them his grandmother a conspiracy theorist. 1930 flipping 7. Not in 1930, not in 1932, when, there was just like some crazy guy talking and some crazy guys talking. 1937, they were yelling at her that she's conspiracy. 1938, they told her, conspiracy theorist. My friends, everything we saw, everything we heard that was a conspiracy theory exactly a year ago, today is a reality. Everybody, if I came and I said, I remember saying to this one guy, the one I told you about, the one that, whatever, he has worked with all kinds of smack scenes, lawyer guy, and I was writing yet last year that we're going to have passports, that we're going to have this, that we're going to be forced. And he was like, we're not forced. I'm like, yeah, do you know what coercion is? No, this, that, conspiracy, what are you getting crazy ideas? What are you so paranoid? Da, da, da. My friends, look around you. Look around you. My friends, look around you. And I hope, and I really hope that we don't come to the place where Rabbi Anava said, to where this is the beginning of the 7 years. I hope this is the end of the 7 years. Not the beginning of the 7, the end of that Yovel, to where it's only going to get crazier. He's like, stock up. He said in a video this week that came out, he goes, you better buy seeds, because at some point they're going to make it illegal just to buy seeds and plant your own seeds. He's like, why do we have just, all of a sudden we have these shortages for no reason? Shortages of milk. He's like, we had shortages of milk on Sukkot in Israel. We had like this shortage, we had that. For why? Why do we have shortages of stuff? For what? It's crazy. Yeah, my friends are saying, will society let us separate them based on arbitrary terms? Apparently the answer is yes. Evil wants to reshape the world, just like in the past. Yeah. Yeah. Listen. My friends, it's like they say, err on the side of caution. I err on the side of conspiracy theory at this point. Like, really. You can call me crazy. You have to err on the side of conspiracy theory. If you're not going there, then you're just not you're not thinking deeply enough. You're not going far enough. You're just, I don't know what you're doing. You're not living in reality. Let's put it that way. I agree to be prepared. It saddens and angers me at the same time that we are seeing loved ones go and get caught off guard. Yeah, listen, I mean, I'll tell you, I was arguing with my family for 2 months, and finally they basically came around. My father wasn't arguing with me. He understands what's going on. My mother took her a while, but her main question was, but why would they be doing this? I'm like, you need to know why they're doing this? Just the fact of, okay, I can tell you the full reason why. I could tell you just the simple reason, control. Just the fact of that they want control is not enough for you. Having come from Soviet Union, he's like, yeah, but control what? I'm like, just control, because people want to control. Just like I want to control my shidduchim. I don't, I was talking to my friend today, like, why don't I like that when shadchans try to set me up? Why? Because I want control. I'm a human being and I want to control. I want to control. I want to be in control. I want to be the one who decides who I go out with, who do I, talk to, how I talk to them, what, I don't want a middleman. I want control. Human beings want control. And human beings, just like these shadchanim, want to control other people. They want to be in control. That's what they get upset when I tell them I want to be in control. Because they want to be in control. Because they're the ones who think that they're supposed to be, they're entitled to be in control. Just like the leaders it's all about control. Everybody wants to be behind this thing right here. You see this? Everybody wants this. Everybody wants it. When you're in the car with your friend, you're in the passenger seat over here, and he's driving like a maniac, and you're going crazy. Why? Because you're not in control of the car. If the car was shaking just the same way, but you would be behind the wheel causing it to shake, you wouldn't be going crazy. Why? Because you're in control. And you want to be in control. Human beings, that is human nature, my friends. But when you give these crazy son of a bitches too much control, then that's it. What is it? Absolute power corrupts. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. My friends, I apologize for the signal. I'm next to the Ohel right now in Queens, and sometimes you get a weird signal here. Weird connection. No, it's giving me full bars. Yeah, my friends, I mean, yeah, people don't understand that, like, Hashem is in control. If you guys go on Wikipedia and you actually read about Fauci, right? You read about him, Mousy. One of the things it writes in his thing, they ask him if he was religious. He said he's actually not, and he actually wrote something to the effect of like he thinks it's like a very, he said there's a lot of unfortunate things because he comes from a Catholic background. There's a lot of unfortunate things in religion, and he prefers to something like be on the side of humanism. He received like a humanist award. My friends, this guy is not in any way, shape, or form connected to Hashem. If anything, he thinks he's a god. He thinks he's a demigod. Just like Tsuris, the guy in Hungary, just like Schmates, just like Cotton Swab, Santa Claus Cotton Swab of the World uneconomic Florum. My friends, these people think that they're gods. They think they're the god of you. They think that they're the boss of you. Not only that, they hate you. They really, really, really hate you. They don't like you at all. They think that you're a peon. They think that you're, their whole thing is like, well, we want to automate everything. So if we're going to automate everything, we don't need this many workers, this many people on the planet. In fact, we don't need anywhere close to 8 billion. We could do with 500 million of the best of the, like they said in that movie, one of those martial arts movies, the best of the best of the best. My friends, you think they're not doing this? Look around you. Just look around you. Take a good look. It's, again, you could call, I really, at this point, the only opinion I care about is Hashem. That's really the only opinion I care about. Yeah, they always see religions. My friends, these people are the reincarnation, are the Gilgulim of Amalek, of Lavan, of what's his name, the other guy, Bilam, of Nimrod, of every single one of these, of Korach. They're all back, my friends. All these Erev Rav, Amalek is part of Erev Rav. They are all back for one final battle against Hashem. This is direct war on Hashem. What these putzes don't understand is that whoever goes up against Hashem doesn't stand a chance, ultimately. Obviously, maybe Hashem is using them as pawns, as Rabbi Nava said today, for some sort of purpose. Unfortunately, we don't understand, and unfortunately, it's part of that is a lot of people get hurt. There's tikkunim involved, there's some kind of hashbonot involved, calculations and accounts to be settled, whatever it is. We don't understand, and we have to do our best to, help people and help ourselves. But at the end of the day, my friends, these putzes who live in towers or in bunkers at this point, who are building them, they don't understand that they're going to lose. They're going to lose very, 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 very badly. They're going to be tribunals. It's not going to be, their end is not going to be pretty, my friends. If you guys want a visual representation, remember the guy, the Nazi who opened up the, in Indiana Jones, in was it The Last Crusade or Lost Ark? One of those two. Oh, Lost Ark, yeah. Yeah, obviously Lost Ark. The guy opened the Ark and he just melted. My friends, I wrote this on many places, and I actually gained friends on Facebook from this, like Israelis. I wrote this in the comments section of Misrad HaBriyut, of the Ministry of Health of Israel. They wrote their nonsense, their usual propaganda thing, and I just wrote literally like, when Mashiach comes, your faces will melt. And I had like a bunch of Israelis, like secular Masorti Israelis, like traditional Sephardim, whatever, just like added me. They're like, I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, there's so many people in Israel, like just secular people, go to like the center of the country or wherever, they really actually have a consciousness about Mashiach. People who you would never think, secular Israelis, like sometimes even like lefties, have a consciousness about Mashiach and just like, really, what's where we're headed here, as a world, as a society, as Am Yisrael, as Eretz Yisrael. I don't want to say Medina Israel, because Medina Israel is, I know where they're headed. The government of Israel, they're gone for a while now at this point. And guys, I realized, being in my business, in my line of work, I've dealt with some of these people who work for the Israeli government. Guys, I hate to tell you, do not romanticize the Israeli government, guys. Don't romanticize it, any part of it. Everybody talks about Mossad and IDF and this and that. Guys, don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful to the people who defend the country and the land, but do not romanticize the people who work in the Israeli government. All these like cogs in the wheels of the, the apparatchiks. Do not romanticize these people. These people are they hate the Torah. They are lukewarm to it at best. The default position is that they hate the Torah and they hate Hashem. My friends, I'm telling you only because from personal experience. Nothing more. And I thought that I can go work with them and work there and, partner up and this and that and the other and blah, blah, blah and this and that. My friends, they don't want any part of it. All they want is to be like the rest of the world. They want to be in the OECD. They want to be recognized by the EU. They want to be licking the UN. They want to go here. They want to go there. My friends, we just want to be a normal country. They don't understand what our mission is here, my friends. They don't understand. And that's why they're governing the country like they're governing it. That's why that's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why Bennett comes and he tries to pander to this sleepy clown, this sleepy Muppet, cardboard guy, okay? Who can't even keep stuff in his pants, you know what I'm saying? We don't have to get too graphic. Guys, I mean, just don't do it. Baruch Hashem, there's the land. Baruch Hashem, yeah, we have army to protect us. We have certain things. By the grace of God, it helps them. But guys, And it's all part of it. It starts with us, really. And I'll tell you guys right now, just close off real quick. I'll tell you guys right now, whatever is going to be the policy going forward in Israel, if Israel eases up its stuff, I'll tell you guys right now, there's going to be certain things that are going to be uncovered, in the dealings between Schmeiser and Israel. And once that happens, guys, it's going to cascade into the public. The media will not be able to stop it. The global media, it will not be able to stop it. Because we have social media, we have other things, we have Substack, we have all these other things. They cannot stop what's coming, guys. They cannot stop what's coming, and there will be judgment on these people. These people better hope that they get judgment by other human beings and not by Hashem. Let's put it that way. But if they're going to keep going the way they're going, they just don't realize. Again, these people are reincarnations of all these, Amalek and Bilam and Shmilam and all these other people. They don't realize what happened to those people. And if they do, maybe they don't care. I don't know. But guys, it's not a good look for them ultimately. Let's put it that way. All right, guys, it's been enough for me. I'm gonna go daven a little bit. I'm gonna go see my friend. Zat Hashem. They're flying back to Eretz Israel tonight. They should be safe. They're flying back to a wonderful place called Susia. If you guys don't know what Susia is, Susia is a town. So Hebron. So if you're driving south from Yerushalayim, you drive past Hebron, another 30 minutes south of Hebron will be a place called Susia. And Susia was a city where we fled to around the year 300, after really the Second Temple collapsed or was destroyed, and we basically fled to that place. It's one of the places we fled to. And we were there for like 300 years in the times of the Gemara, the Talmudic times period, or pre-Talmudic period. And it's still there. The ancient Susia is still there. You guys can check it out. And there's a winery there, which is very cool. So I'm going to meet my friends, and it was actually very funny. The last time I saw them, they hosted a concert by this guy Eldad Zidtrin, and he's an amazing musician, very talented guy. But he's like the secular guy from Tel Aviv. But not very nice guy. They invited him. I'm surprised he came. Like whatever, because these Tel Aviv people, like they don't head out to like Yudav Shomron or the West Bank, or the Shtachim as they call them. So he came out there. He did a concert. We had the headphones, the headphone inside. So then he goes, at some point, it was Elul. It was the month of Elul. He's like, okay, so now what should I play? And somebody just yells out, like, do something for Elul, like an Elul song. He's like, it's Elul? I didn't even know. Anilo. He's like, he's like, Elul? He's like, Anilo idea, Anilo dati, we're like, everybody's like cracking up. But like, it was such an amazing moment to see like this Tel Aviv guy, and people like were like, well, that's Elul. And now he's like, okay, I'll do something. And then he's like, okay. He's like, what's the theme of Elul? They're like, well, Hashem is in the field, the king's in the field, and whatever. Hashem is close to us, and there's closeness, and Anila Dodi V'Dodi Li, I'm to my beloved is to me. So he played this song. He played like a love song, basically. They wrote for like his girlfriend or something like that. It was shy for him, whatever, but it was very nice. So that was the last time I saw my friends over there, and it was these are the things that are happening, guys, right now in Israel. Despite what I just told you with the government and all that stuff, there's a lot of, or there was, and I think the government saw that, there was a lot of achdut happening with the musicians that are playing, and there's like secular and religious musicians playing together, and there's people coming to their concerts, and like Masorti people are coming, secular people are coming to hear like Yishai Ribo, right, who was actually just here at the Ohel. Like, things are happening. These are like developments that are happening in Israel that are like, people are kind of picking up on it outside of Israel, but not really, But yeah, guys, under the surface, there are things happening, and Hashem is working, and Mashiach is working, and Zrat Hashem, all the people that are supposed to, be stopped will be stopped, and we'll be able to continue. Zrat Hashem, guys. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening.